Hello, welcome to the marketing presentation where we will be talking about the impact of the decision making role on perceived satisfaction, value for money, and reinvest intentions in the context of big data marketing analytics. Now, we are going to talk about the learning objectives of this paper. The objectives will be as follows: introduce the research setting, introduce the key constructs, which include decision making role, perceived satisfaction, perceived value for money, reinvest intentions. Discuss the impact of its role in decision-making process, describe the research model, introduce hypothesis, and describe the implications. Big data. Now the question arises, what is big data and how is it important in the marketing strategy? Big data works in various sectors, but it is the most important part if you're going to understand your customer. If you don't understand your target audience, you won't be able to work with it. So, what is big data and what it gives us? Big data gives us the capability of handling large amount of data in a more affordable way. We are able to understand our customers and how to target our market in a better manner. Big data provides us the knowledge on know your customer using a 360-degree view. And what I mean by 360 is that we have the data related to our target purchasing history, web history, address, age, social media activities, and a lot more. In other words, big data shows us the customer's desires, necessities, and expectations according to their willingness and their idea of what they want and what they might want. Most industries and organizations heavily relies on essential marketing tool such as big data to understand who they are catering to. According to McAfee, big data provides the marketing managers an opportunity to know, understand their business and their customers in a better way, which would help in facilitating better decision making, thereby strengthening the overall performance of the business. Raghunandan defines the accuracy and correctness of decisions are referred to as decision making quality. When information and processing quality improves, decision making quality improves on its own. Big data is often associated with predictive analysis. This insight includes a variety of techniques for predicting future outcomes, revealing patterns, and finding relationships in the data, stated by Gandomi and Heather in 2015 paper. Big data analysis scale processes activities can affect the quality of the decision-making process. Then we will talk about perceived satisfaction. Perceived satisfaction can be defined as user acceptance of information, systems, and the degree of comfort involved in using them. The perceived satisfaction can be much more adeptly identified in the context of this research as whether the user, that is the firm, was happy with the deployment of the big data marketing analytics processes. What that means is whether they were happy with the kind of decisions they were able to make based on the data that they acquired. Then we will talk about the perceived value for money. Now, the perceived value of money can be defined as a measure of product's perceived value. It refers to a consumer's total appraisal of a product or service utility based on perceptions on what is received and what is given. The perceived value could be the perceived worth in terms of the functional value of goods or service quality and pricing, the emotional value of feeling, and the social value of social influence from the self-experiences and other options. Marketers use this construct to understand whether the data that was provided from the analytics was actually good for the money. Were they able to provide the data, the quality of decisions that would actually create a situation where they have the right kind of return on investments. The marketing strategy of a company is flawed if its products or services do not match the requirements and desires of its customers. As a result of providing more value to customers, long-term connections have developed as a case of client loyalty. The next key construct that we'll be talking about is reinvestment intentions. Reinvestment intentions are a very major part of understanding whether the BDMA as a whole was working for the client or not. Business organizations generally require multiple resources in the form of capital, manpower, technical knowledge, and time in order to invest in BDMA, which is considered to be profitable but tedious in nature. So, was it worth reinvestment? What matters is the outcome of the BDMA, the data, the decisions, and everything on how it actually made impact on the company's marketing strategy and whether there was a positive outcome of the strategy or not. The main goal and objective of the business organization is to ensure that they get a substantial return on their investments, which they make in acquiring and analyzing marketing data. It helps in determining if the organization would consider reinvesting in big data marketing analytics or not. Next, we will be talking about the structural model that was used in the research. As you can see, we were able to derive 6 hypotheses based on the structural model. We are going to analyze the relationship between decision making with perceived value for money, reinvest intentions, and satisfaction. Furthermore, we will also be identifying the impact of perceived value for money on reinvest intentions and satisfaction. Finally, we will be studying how the satisfaction works on the reinvestment intentions of the company based on the BDMA. So now we will be talking about the actual data that was gathered in the research. First of all, we will be analyzing whether the constructs were actually significant to our research or not. As you can see in the table, the constructs had the p-value of less than 0.05, which makes it perfectly significant to our research. Alright, now we will be talking about the reliability of our constructs towards our research. As you can see, Cronbach alpha is the method that is generally used, and seeing it that Cronbach alpha requires a minimum of 0.7 for it to be a reliable construct. We can see that most of our constructs match our requirement. Satisfaction is a little bit low, but when you add the composite reliability factor and the average variance extracted, you can see that it matches up to it. So we will be using satisfaction also for our research. Next, we will be talking about the validity of our constructs, for which we will use R-square and Q-square to understand how it affects our constructs. For R-square, the previous research showed that 0.25 was weak, 0.5 to be moderate, and 0.75 to be substantial. From our table, we can clearly see that our value for R-square lie between 0.5 to 0.25. That means it lies in the range of weak to moderate, more closer towards the moderate section. The Q-square value from the previous research was said to be 0.25 and 0.5 range for medium and large, and our Q-square value from the table matches our requirement, so we are fine with that too. Then we will be moving along to the hypothesis testing. The 6 hypotheses were sufficiently tested towards the end and to understand whether they make the proper impact or not. The p-value obviously should be lower than 0.05, with every construct matching that requirement. We were pretty sure that the constructs were significant towards our research. At the end, we were able to prove that the hypotheses were supported with the effect size of each and every construct to be of the requirement amount. Moving on, we will be talking about the implications of our research. Theoretically, it correlates decision making and perceived satisfaction, perceived value for money, along with improved decision making quality and reinvest intentions. It invites further research to understand just to what extent these constructs relate towards the BDMA and how it will be able to grow the marketing analytics future. On the other hand, managerially, the quality of decision making is improved and companies can decide productively based on their information rather than gut instincts on what the next steps of a marketing strategy should be. Transformation into vital information through BDMA is a great asset to online retailers. Companies can redesign their strategies and models of big data marketing analytics in order to meet the needs of BDMA users. This concludes our research. So, for conclusion, all we will have to repeat is that big data marketing analytics play a very crucial role in today's modern and competitive business environment. by contributing greatly towards the profitability, growth, and development of business organizations. Big data marketing analytics is considered to be a tool, an asset in the hands of highly skilled and technological superior sector of an organization. The detailed analysis of marketing information generated from big data is now considered to be the future of modern marketing and is acting as a crucial factor in the success of every business strategy. The findings of the study and the paper clearly states that perceived satisfaction and perceived value for money has a substantial impact on the decision making of deployment of BDMA. However, BDMA is an extremely vast concept and there are many unanswered questions which need to be addressed. This will help to ensure that further detailed research and study in the field of big data marketing analytics remains open. Thank you all for attending our marketing presentation. We hope we were able to clarify the impact of decision-making role on perceived satisfaction, value for money, and reinvest intentions in the context of BDMA.